English for Section 88, Unit 2, What Risks Are Good to Take? So this week we are talking about risks. Risk. So, for example, I moved to Thailand alone. I, Ajahn Tom, I moved to Thailand alone. But was this a risk or not a risk? Well, I think this was a risk for me because I had no friends or family in Thailand. I had no job in Thailand. I had nowhere to live and not much money. So this was a risk because this could have been bad. It could have been a bad experience in Thailand. However, was it a good or bad risk? Well, now I have friends in Thailand. I have a job. I have somewhere to live. I have money. So this was actually a good risk. A good risk. So thinking about risk, look at this picture. What is happening? Do you think this is a risk? Why or why not? So this is a rocket going into space. So we will have astronauts inside. But is it a risk? Why or why not? Okay, question 1. What are some risks that people take? Why do they take them? Question 2. What kinds of risks are okay to take? What kinds are not? Why? Pause the video and think about your answers to questions 1 and 2 now. Okay, to listen to the answers from other students and decide if you agree or disagree with what they say. So go to your CD and listen to Unit 2, Listening 1, Intro Discussion now. Look at the questionnaire. Answer the questions. Are you a risk taker? So, 10 questions. Question 1. Have you ever moved to a new country? Answer yes, I have. No, but I might. And no, I never will. So, for example, I would say, have you ever moved to a new country? My answer would be yes, I have. I moved to Thailand. So, answer all 10 questions for you and think about whether you are a risk taker or not. Pause the video and answer the questions now. Once you have finished all 10 questions, I want you to look at the next page. If you answered mostly yes, then this is about you, and it says that you like to take many different kinds of risks, so you are a risk taker. If you answered no, then you play it safe. You are uncomfortable with risks, so you do not take risks. And if you answered mostly the middle column, or some of each answer, then you are in the middle of being a risk taker or not. So think, do you agree with this description of you? Why or why not? Think about whether you agree with this and think of examples in your life. Vocabulary. Here are some words from listening 1. Read the definitions, then complete the paragraph on the next page with the correct word. So, we have audience, credit, debt, embarrass, expose, financial, funds, income, model, and threaten. So read the definition and look at the word type. So credit is noun, debt noun, financial adjective, and complete this paragraph with the words. For example, when I went to college, I didn't know anything about matters. So matters This is a noun, so the word before must be an adjective. So look at the list. The adjective, we have financial, so this word must be financial matters. Use the words to complete the rest of the paragraph, 2 to 10. Pause the video and complete the paragraph now. Okay, answers. So, I didn't have very much money. I wasn't working, so I didn't have a regular. Talk about money that you earn for a job. So, we talk about income. I started buying things on credit. For example, so credit is paying for things later. So buying but paying later. For example, when we use a credit card, that is paying with credit. So that way, soon I was $25,000 in debt. Debt is money that you owe a person or the bank. Here, the state of owing money. When my parents found the bill, they were very upset. They offered to give me the funds I needed to pay it. So the funds is the money she needed, a sum of money. They didn't want to embarrass me, but told me I needed to be more responsible. I finally repaid them, but it took a long time. Now I work for a bank and give talks to college students about managing their money. I try to expose the problems they can have if they owe a lot of money when they are in school. So expose is to show something that is usually hidden. I explain that what I did was not a good model to follow. So she says students should not copy what she did. The students in the audience are always interested in the topic. They usually don't know that owing so much money can threaten their future happiness. So owing money can have a bad effect on their future. Okay, so moving on to the listening. Financing a dream. You are going to listen to a film critic talking about the different ways filmmakers have raised money from their movies. So we are listening about filmmakers and their movies and how they raised money from the movies. Write down 2 financial risks a filmmaker might take in order to make a movie. So think about the risks, the financial risks a filmmaker might take. Write down 2 risks now. Pause the video now. Okay, so listening for main ideas. Listen to the film critics talk. Check the risks filmmakers took when making their movies. For example, number 1, charging large amounts of money on credit cards. 2, getting fired from a job. 3, going into personal debt. 4, selling their homes. 5, causing family problems. And 6, using personal income. So listen to the talk and check the ones that are mentioned. For example here. Go to the CD now and listen to Unit 2, Listening 1, Main Ideas and Details, and check the risks. Pause the video and listen now. Okay, once you have finished this section, move to the next page, listening for details. So listen again and match the filmmaker with the types of financing. So Spike Lee, Robert Townsend, Robert Rodriguez, Peter Jackson, Matt Harding. Match the filmmaker with the types of financing A to E. So write A to E next to the filmmakers. So go to this back to the CD and listen again to Unit 2, Listening 1, Main Ideas and Details now. Pause the video and listen to the talk again. Okay, once you have finished the listening sections, look at these questions. Number 1, why do you think these filmmakers had to take the risk they did? 2, do you have dreams or goals that might require you to take risks? What are they? What are some of the risks you might have to take to achieve them? Number 3, what careers do you think involve a lot of risk? Why? Pause the video and write your answers to questions 1, 2 and 3 in your book now. Okay, grammar, past perfect. This will be covered in Ajan A's video as well, so make sure you watch them both. Okay, so past perfect. We use the past perfect to show the relationship between two events or actions in the past. So two things in the past. Use past perfect for the first event and past simple for the second event. Okay, for example, past perfect, first, simple, second. So I had driven had plus verb 3 for 5 hours. I went straight to bed without dinner. The concert had started, had verb 3. We arrived late. So these are the first events, these are the second events. Use the past perfect with time clauses that begin with when, before, by the time, and until. So these words go in between the events. So, past perfect, he had been at work for 5 hours when we called him. So past perfect, first event, when, called, second event. Paul had driven for an hour before he noticed he had a flat tire. Past perfect, first event, before, noticed, second event. They had already eaten dinner by the time I got home. So had eaten, first thing, by the time got home, second. And I hadn't heard anything about it. So hadn't heard, past perfect, until I read the paper this morning. Read verb 2, past simple, second. For example, for me, I had lived in England all my life before I moved to Thailand. So I had lived, past perfect, before moved, verb 2. So if we look on a timeline, now, so these are both past. I moved to Thailand. This happened 2011. So before that, I lived in England. So first event, I lived in England, must be past perfect. I had lived in England. And then I moved to Thailand, stays past simple. Again, look at this one. We have a man who is hungry, and then he goes to shabushi, so eats a buffet. And this is all in the past, before now. So first event, past perfect, I had been very hungry until we went to shabushi for lunch. So I had been, first event, I had been very hungry until we went to shabushi for lunch. Okay, so read the pairs of sentences. Write 1 next to the sentence that happened first. So 1 next to the first event and 2 next to the second event. Then write one sentence using the past time clause in parentheses. So, number 1, Rob Rines worked on a sonar system. He started teaching at MIT. This is the first event. This is the second event. And we use before. So, if this is the first, we don't use worked, we use past perfect, had worked. So Rob Rines had worked on a sonar system before he started, verb 2, teaching at MIT. Write sentences for 2 to 8. So choose which is the first event and which is the second, and complete a sentence using until, before, by the time, etc. for each sentence. Pause the video and write your sentences now. Okay, here are 2 more examples. Number 2, I hadn't heard about the Loch Ness Monster. I read the article using until. So, this is the first event and this is the second event. So, first event, we need to use past perfect. So, I hadn't heard about the Loch Ness Monster until I read the article. Past perfect, first, until, read, verb 2. It started to rain, we finished hiking. So again, it started to rain is the first event, we finished hiking is the second. So when we write the sentence, this needs to be past perfect. So the answer, it had started to rain before we finished hiking. So first event, it had started to rain before we finished, past simple, verb 2. So write the sentences for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 now. Okay, last page. Complete the sentences with information that is true for you. So, complete each sentence using the past perfect about you. So, I, when I got home yesterday. I, until I started taking this class. I, by the time I graduated from high school. I, by the year 2000. I, before I. So, complete each sentence using past perfect and this last sentence past simple. Pause the video and complete the sentences about you now. This is the end of the lesson. Make sure you have completed all pages of the unit in your book.